Hey guys, it's Mathel here once again, and ever since Divine Ire came out, we figured out it's pretty good. It's a very fun, very nice skill. But what's better than one Divine Ire? Six! Six Divine Eyes are better than one Divine Ire, which is why we've made the Divine Ire Totem build. Now, it has been talked about a fair few times in my chat, and plenty of people have said it's decent. Plenty of people have said it's kinda good up until a certain level. Maybe it just tails off a bit. It's okay for some things, not that good for others. And I've finally got the chance to try it out myself because I've only really played just regular Divine Eyes. That's how I think the skill just feels a bit nicer. But having tried it out with totems, I can highly recommend it as totems as well. It actually functions really quite nicely in that once it's attached to a totem, it's going to try and charge up to 20 and then release. It's not going to keep charging. It will release once it hits its max stacks and unleash a huge beam of lasery death. And with 6 of them going off at a time, you can actually get some pretty good clear and crossfires going, and overall it seems to be a rather nice playstyle. As far as a totem build is concerned anyway, it still does suffer the pitfalls of being a totem build, meaning you have to place totems ahead of yourself and not go fully balls to the wall clear speed. But once you're well enough established on certain maps or certain events, it's pretty damn cruisy. As you can see here, the totems will just carry you hard on plenty of events where you barely have to lift a finger. And it is quite a lot of fun seeing all the laser beams going off. This is with the red MTX though, and it seems to be that it's going to be one of the strongest single target skills or builds overall that I've done. Possibly ever. Not too sure just yet, but currently I've got something like 1 million damage on average from each totem going off when they crit. And the previous build, I believe, Sweep, was doing something like almost 2 million hits. Well, I've got 6 totems going down, and you'll see at the end of the video that versus Shaper, for example, there's just nothing some of these bosses are going to be doing, and it should be interesting to see how this actually holds up in proper endgame. Tier 16's Uber Elder, I think that'll be fine, but really the 5-way battles should be something that we're really looking into with something like this. Besides that though, it's also a really nice delving character because placing totems before you go into these or down some of the more dangerous alleyways in Delve and attacking from safety seems to be a really positive thing as far as this build is concerned. You just place your totems and let things die well before they get to you. And when you're hitting for an average of 1 million, then the deepest delve that I'm currently running just stands absolutely no chance, and everything gets one shot before you even get there. Likewise with these double beyond, sextanted and betrayed maps, everything just dies in an instant, and I've actually wiped out a few Abaxoths without even knowing they spawned. But this here is my deepest delve. It's like 520 or something at the moment, and I'm level 85 on this character, so not even really that well fine-tuned yet, and everything's just getting one shot, and the playstyle is super nice for this type of depth, or just for delve in general, because totems can be extremely safe while doing an extreme amount of damage. And this actually is not even the ideal version, because I'm still using a Quicksilver Flask and it's putting my cart well ahead of me, so I do actually end up taking off my Quicksilver Flask when I'm going to be delving, because I don't want the cart to be running all that fast while trying to keep up with it and putting totems down and then putting myself in harm's way. Realistically, I should not be playing it that dangerously, and it looks a little more something like this, where I can place my totems with my cart and then get into the thick of the action. And I'm really looking forward to getting some more delve done on this character, maybe pushing some of my highest depths ever, and then hopefully coming across a few bosses, because I think it'll be a really nice build for the end game bosses, the All, the Kurgle, that sort of thing. Place your totems, and then as you can see, once they're actually going off, they are firing off quite a lot of lasers quite often, and I do have a decent amount of cold damage, and you can see that they will be freezing enemies, or at least chilling them quite profoundly as well. And then we come across the first real Shaper attempt I've, done, I guess. The first one I did was at like level 60 with like 5% of my damage. Still managed to kill him, but now that I've got real damage, I'm absolutely globaling him without really even having too much of a setup. Just getting some power charges. Oftentimes, they even drop off. Doesn't really matter. And it's going to be ridiculous for the end game. We'll have to wait and see in the next couple days just how well that goes. So we'll jump into how I built this character so far and the gearing of it. So here is our character so far, level 86, Kamehameha on a stick. Now, as you can see, you can currently create 6 totems for this build, or at least the way I've built it, and that is because of +1 totem on the Hierophant passives, +1 totem on Ancestral Bond, +2 totems with multiple totem support, and then +1 totem on the shield. That gives you a total of 6, and that's how I've decided to go with it. You could go a little different. Maybe you don't need multi-totems. Maybe you have some ideas for staves or void batteries, things like that. But I've built around the shaped mod, +1 summon totems, and multiple totem support, and we can get out 6 totems at a time, which means 1 million laser beams going off at once against various types of stuff out there. Now, I could have gone a more expensive route while building this character and done the Eternity Shroud setup, where you get an Eternity Shroud, all shaped gear, convert all of your lightning to cold, all of your cold to fire, and or at least some of your cold to fire, and had probably double the damage I currently have. But I wanted to try and establish the build without all-out potato DPS to start with, to see if it's good enough, because it is kind of a bitch to build around Eternity Shroud, and a very build-defining unique, so you don't really want to you don't really want to go from the absolute maximum and say this is what you need, when in reality you can probably get by with half as much damage. So I'm trying to do it with just pretty stock standard multi-modded gear, that sort of stuff. And this chest, for example, basically just a spell crit chest. Managed to get some life on it too, but the regular life roll you can put on there is 85. So a lot of this gear really isn't hard to get. It's just some sort of expensive to craft, because you need to isolate a mod and then try and multi-mod. Except for potentially the shield, which I got fairly lucky in crafting. So ideally you're just going for alteration spam until you get summon totems +1, and I was just going to probably multi-mod around that singular mod. I ended up getting a good sort of prefix, suffix combo, got OK Regal, then managed to slam it a couple of times, and this is the end result. But you can multi-mod around the +1 summon totem pretty easily. You can multi-mod around just % physical as extra lightning, or % Ellie as chaos. All kinds of stuff can be done, which doesn't have to be my exact gear. It's just what I've landed on while I was going through the crafting process. It's not even the ideal wand here. You do want the Ellie as non-chaos, but the fizz damage as extra lightning is a good secondary stat too. The important thing is to get the spare suffix here going, chance to do double damage while focused, because every time you press your focus button, that's going to be like a 30% damage increase, which is huge for a suffix and just a button press. So you get the focus if you don't know. You get the focus ability once you have any sort of craft that does focus. So we have these here, press Q, and you will be focused using these things, as well as that my gloves too. Wanted to multi-mod around just plain cast speed, managed to get a slightly higher life roll as well. And then ideally we're multi-modding for the cast speed while focused, and converting some of our damage to lightning. So with these gloves and with this passive over here, we do have something like 90% physical converted to lightning, and then a lot of extra damage as well as that through hatred, fizz as lightning here, some on the fizz as lightning, fizz as cold on the amulet, which I chaos spammed, I think. So if you want a double damage fizz as extra cold, fizz as extra lightning type of amulet, chances are chaos spam, prismatics, frigid fossils, things like that are going to be the best way to get it. I wouldn't really expect to get it, because it is hard to actually land this roll, and more often than not you'll be fine with just one physical as extra something roll, and then a crit multi suffix, maybe some cast speed, and you probably have similar damage output compared to this amulet anyway. We were just trying to get some spare suffixes on all of our jewelry so that I could put min frenzy so that I could always have frenzies up, because otherwise this build is generating no frenzies, especially with this timeless jewel Militant Faith with Dominus that gives us Inner Conviction, 3% more spell damage per power charge, can't gain frenzy charges. So I do have 5 power charges in the end, which is 15% more damage, a respectable amount, and that's what I've gone with for my Timeless Jewel, just placed over here where you would otherwise have the low life node, and then a few little nodes that help the devotion as well. So went with channeling damage, 4% per 10 devotion, and increased effect of non-curse auras, which is pretty strong in this build, and also why I've got an influence over here, because I am currently running Wrath, Hatred, and Zealotry, the 3 big auras for Divine Ire, which end up giving us quite a lot of damage. And I can only do that all at once because of Devouring Diadem, that means you can reserve some less mana for your auras, and as well as that, an Enlighten. So it's an Enlighten level 5, and then has Wrath, Zealotry, and Hatred, and with these passives here, lets you run all of those at once. Now, if you can't get an Enlighten level 4, no big deal, an Enlighten level 3 will do, or even no Enlighten, and then you can run a Herald of Ash instead of the Hatred. Herald of Ash is pretty close in damage to Hatred for this type of build. It's not going to be a huge difference, but if you want to min-max, getting the level 4 Enlighten and getting those passives is going to be the biggest route for damage. Now, these auras do also open us up to some decent Watch Your Eye mods. So I've got a Wrath one here for 24% extra Fizz, and then Zealotry for 10% LE Pen. This one here cost me 3 Exalts to buy. There's lots of decent combos out there, especially when you're running these 3 auras, or even Precision as well. These 4 auras, there's a lot of decent combos out there, but the main one I think that's going to be giving us the biggest damage is Wrath extra physical damage, so look out for that one primarily. Now, we are running Precision at level 1, and it's entirely just for that 40 crit. 40 crit for 22 mana is a pretty good deal, and that's why we're doing that. And besides that, the gear is pretty normal, I'd say, just nothing else to really mention. But as far as our links are concerned, you start out with Divine Ire. So you have Divine Ire, attach it to a spell totem, multi-totems as well if you want to go the huge totem route. We then have faster casting. Getting a lot of cast speed is pretty important in this build so that it charges up to 20 stacks really quickly. And then Control Destruction and Hypothermia. Now, you run crit strikes until you actually have a good amount of crit, because you do want to make sure you're critting quite often. Once you have a decent, respectable amount of crit, it's probably worth dropping Controlled Destruction in there and taking out crit strikes. Primarily once you have probably a chest like this, which I think I will still be divining a little harder. And then I've also got Hypothermia. When you're going for big single target, you get rid of the faster casting, put in the Conk effect, and that's going to be our ultimate damage. For our actual defenses, we do have an okay life pool, nothing too special, but as well as that, EB and Mind Over Matter. So currently 2.2k ES. You get a few little ES passives from the tree, things like the hybrids, but then you primarily get a lot of your energy shield from the helmet itself, and a chest if you get just a little bit of energy shield on it, but mostly the 10% and max life as extra max energy shield mod. You can see without our chest, currently 2.2, no chest, 800. So getting 1400 ES from this pretty basic as fuck chest. And like I said, you can multi-mod around just the spell crit very comfortably and make it a pretty good build. As far as I can tell, I've got roughly 2-3 times more damage than I need. So if you can't get the exact stuff out here, I don't think it's really going to matter. And it probably will be a decent league starting build as well. Grab a tabula and then run whatever the fuck gear you can, and it'll probably farm some serious shit. You just won't really be able to balls through maps mega fast and take lots of hits. You'll have to play it as a somewhat defensive totem playstyle. I've got Stormbrand attached to Power Charge on crit, Assassin Mark, and Curse on hit. The playstyle does entail just dropping Stormbrands every now and again, or Orb of Storms if you'd rather do that. And that gets you your power charges, because currently I had to make some tough choices as to my last few points. The Hierophant points going into the totems, absolute no-brainer, grab those for sure. But then whether or not you're going the Arcane Surge route or the Power Charge Endurance Charge route, or alternatively you could go the Mind Over Matter sort of route and reserve even less mana and that sort of stuff. But I decided to go the EB route and then get Arcane Surge permanently up, because you won't get Arcane Surge up permanently if you're not doing something like this, or the Zealotry Watcher's Right, if you're doing EB, because you don't otherwise consume any mana, which meant that I needed Power Charge on crit somewhere, which really sucks, because this node is super nice for quality of life, keeping up your power charges and endurance charges, but that's just how it is. End up doing Arcane Blessing, and I am immune to elemental ailments at the same time, which is a nice little perk. The passive tree is extremely bloated, and you want to take all the life, all the energy shield, all the crit, all the totems, all the LE damage possible, so it's kind of hard to min-max, and this is what I've come up with so far. Still going to be taking probably Crackling Speed, might spec up to Throat Seeker, something like that. We'll see how we go though. That's the current build though. The MTX, if you want to know, the new supporter pack, Sentinel Overlord, with Void Wings, Madcap character effect, Seraph Dagger, something like that. So that's the character. Hopefully we see some big results in the end game in the next few days. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.